I've had sleep paralysis since I was a teenager. It used to hit me maybe once or twice a year, always during stressful weeks or after a few days of bad sleep. I got used to it. That familiar pressure pinning me down, the vague weight on my chest, and that invisible presence standing somewhere near the bed. It scared me the first few times, but I learned to wait it out. I thought it was just another weird brain glitch, something old in our heads we haven't evolved past. But what happened last winter wasn't a glitch. It was something else. It started subtle. I remember the first episode because it felt unusually long. I couldn't move, but the heaviness wasn't just on my chest, it filled the room. Like the air was thicker. It felt like the walls had leaned inward slightly, making the space smaller. I could see the ceiling, the corner of the dresser, the hallway light I'd left on for comfort. But the corner of the room was wrong. It wasn't darker. It was empty, completely devoid of anything, like the space itself had been erased. And I could feel that it was watching me, not seeing, watching, without eyes. When the episode ended, I didn't move right away. I waited, but nothing changed. The corner filled back in. The pressure lifted. I blamed stress. The next time it happened, it was 3:19 a.m. The same thing. Locked body. Still breath. Sharp awareness. And that same presence? Each time after, it came back more vivid. The shape in the corner started to shift slightly. Never clearly. Just enough to let me know it was growing stronger. Like it had been practicing being seen. It always started at 3:19. To the second. I began setting alarms for 3:18 to try to disrupt it. The alarm would go off. I'd stay up, drink water, pace the apartment. Still, the next night, it would come back. Not always when I was in bed. Sometimes I'd fall asleep on the couch, or even sitting upright. The paralysis still came. The time still matched. And the shape started moving closer. I began recording audio overnight. I used my phone, placed right on the nightstand. 8-hour clips. On one recording, the waveform spiked at 3:19. I listened. There was a breath. Long. Deep. Not mine. Then a whisper. Not a word. Just a vibration. Like wind through a hollow pipe. The sound stopped suddenly, and the recording went silent for 23 minutes before normal room noise returned. I checked my room the next day. Found nothing. But the closet door was open. I never open it. Even worse inside, my pillow was folded neatly on the top shelf. I didn't put it there. The next week, I woke up paralyzed again, but not lying down. I was standing, facing the bathroom mirror. I could see my reflection, arms hanging straight, eyes open, still, and behind me, there was something in the doorway. The mirror didn't show its face, just a tall black line, like a shadow stretched too far. I couldn't turn, couldn't breathe. Only my eyes moved. And as I stared at the mirror, the surface fogged over. But I hadn't showered. There was no reason for it to fog. And in the mist, something began forming. Lines, shapes, letters. Not words I could read. Just symbols. Spirals, almost. Then I blacked out. Woke up back in bed. Face soaked. Feet dirty. I tried sleeping at a friend's place the next night. No paralysis. No nightmares. But when I got back to my apartment the next evening, I found a set of faint handprints on the inside of the living room window. Pressed from the inside. One of them was mine. The other had too many fingers. Last night, it happened again. Only this time, the paralysis didn't feel passive. It felt planned. The figure wasn't in the corner anymore. It was by the bed. Closer. Bent down. Its presence felt heavy on the mattress. Not with weight, with intent. Then it touched me. I couldn't move. Couldn't scream. But I felt its hand press against my stomach. Fingers cold. Thin. They didn't press down. They moved inward, And then I heard it. Not with my ears. With my spine. A voice, from inside my ribs, sliding upward into my skull. One sentence. 3 times. Let me finish. I woke up an hour later, but I didn't feel rested. I felt hollow, like something had been taken out of me, or something had been left inside. I don't fall asleep anymore. I slip. It starts when I blink too long, or when I lie down for a moment just to rest my back. Sometimes when I shower, I'll close my eyes for one breath, and when I open them again, the water's cold and the time has jumped forward by hours. That's how it began to bleed through. Whatever it is, it doesn't need sleep to find me now. It only needs the cracks, the half-states, the gray spaces between thoughts, where I let go just a little. And I think that's where it lives. At first, the episodes stayed small. I'd find myself standing in places I didn't remember walking to. The hallway, the balcony. One time, in the stairwell of my apartment building, barefoot and holding a spoon. Then it got bolder. I woke up in my neighbor's laundry room once, curled up beside the water heater, arms folded like I had been listening for something. No one had let me in. The door hadn't been forced. That night, I had scratches on my wrists evenly spaced. Not random, not aggressive, just deliberate lines, parallel, like something was drawing on me from the inside. I stopped counting days. Time got slippery. I started keeping video logs. I'd record myself before sleeping, just a few minutes at a time, describing where I was, how I felt, what I feared. Every morning the files would be gone, erased. Not just deleted, overwritten with static or strange loops of silent frames. My face, frozen. My mouth half open like I'd been about to speak, and forgot what language was. I set up a mirror beside the bed, taped it to the wall. One morning, I woke up and found it shattered. Not cracked. Shattered from the inside. The glass hadn't fallen forward. It had fallen into the wall. There was no hole, no impact point, just a perfect ring of break lines, like something had looked out. I began to write on my own arms. Permanent marker, lists, names, symbols, anything that felt like mine. I'd wake up with the ink scrubbed off. Not washed. Scrubbed. Raw skin beneath. I wore gloves to bed. Duct taped them on. Didn't matter. It wanted me clean. It needed surface. To write on. To change. One night, I woke up in the kitchen, standing at the fridge. My phone flashlight was on. I was filming something inside the fridge. There was nothing there. But the footage showed something. The light caught handprints. Inside the plastic. From the inside. Pressed against the milk jug. The ketchup bottle. Even the egg carton. Too many fingers. Too long. And always that same shape spirals, drawn in condensation. When I opened the fridge again, it was empty. All food gone. Just cold air, and one object sitting in the back corner. A cracked piece of a mirror. Not mine. Not from my place. I threw it out. Next night, I woke up with it under my pillow. It didn't reflect anything. Only darkness. But the glass was warm, like it had been held. Since then, things have changed inside me. Not just memory loss. Not just blackouts. Replacements. Thoughts that aren't mine. Instincts. I reached for the stove burner last week, while it was on, pressed 2 fingers to the coil, felt the skin blister. Didn't flinch. Didn't pull away. I only moved when I heard my own voice whisper, "Good. That's where it starts." But I didn't say it. I don't even remember hearing it. It felt remembered, not spoken. The marks on my body now appear without pattern. Sometimes spirals. Sometimes letters I recognize, then forget. Sometimes just deep grooves along my spine, like something had tried to unzip me. I tried leaving. Packed a bag, booked a room across town. Woke up the next morning in my own bed. Bag still packed. Sitting in the sink. Wet. I don't know what the thing wants. But it's not tormenting me. It's using me. Every 319, it moves a little further forward. Every blackout, I lose more time and it gains something. A gesture. A sentence. A movement that used to be mine. Now when I stand in the mirror too long, my reflection doesn't blink when I do. It smiles when I don't. It's waiting for the last thing to finish. I think the voice in my chest is almost done speaking. And whatever it said, it must have started long before I ever heard it.